Well, if ever I've said anything on here so far that's going to get me killed, it's going to be this one. I'm Alfie Animus, and welcome to the Associated Guests Wednesday show here on the Bear in Mind Network. Okay, so the Riyadh Comedy Festival. There's been a lot of talk about this recently, mostly when it comes due to hypocrisy, blood money. Some comedians are getting it worse than others. I've been thinking a lot about this, and as a lot of times, not every time, when I'm thinking of something, at least when it comes to the mainstream or, politics, Crowder usually finds a way to help me with my words a bit. So let's get into this.
The answer, of course, is none. Just to be clear, before we get to this and all these comedians who are, comedians always want to, and this is why I've always, it's not a club that, they act like they're changing the world. And I get it, by the way. Comedy is important to speak truth to power. I understand it. But a lot of people have cashed in on that while doing nothing more than cashing in on that. So let's set the stage here. We're talking whether it's Israel, and by the way, completely valid to criticize the Israeli government and certainly Netanyahu because he has an incentive to keep this war going on. Because as soon as it's done, he's out. I get that. I also understand.
And that's 100% true. Look, no matter what side you're on with that part, whether you're for the Palestinians, for Hamas, or for Israel, one thing we can all agree on, Netanyahu does have a dog in this race other than survival. Because once the war is over, yes, his wartime power will come to an end. There will be another election, as there should be. Let's see if he goes full Caesar when that time does come, because it's coming. As Trump would say, why do you have to be so fucking negative all the time?
Criticizing the American government because they've fallen short in many ways, but to do so while running interference for the Saudis, that's where I go, oh, maybe you don't believe what you're saying necessarily, because their track record on human rights, well, let me just give them to you. Saudi Arabia...
Well, and real quick, notice that people only care about things if it affects them. Everyone's against slavery and the fact that America had slaves when slavery, as far as a worldwide thing, is bigger than it's ever been. These are facts. There are more slaves now. And yes, it is because the population is more, sure, but there are more countries with slaves now than there's ever been. Pretty much everywhere, except for the West and Japan and a few South American countries. But most places on the other side of the Prime Meridian, other than Europe and Japan, most places. South Korea, sure. But North Korea
is number 4 on the top 10 slave-owning countries in the world today. Wow. More slaves on Earth today than ever in recorded history, by the way, over 50 million. They administer the death penalty for things like being gay, apostasy, blasphemy against Islam. Apostasy, in their case, means just basically leaving.
Yes.
You're a Muslim, now you're not, you get put to death. They've murdered journalists. Of course, you guys remember Khashoggi. That was a big one. And, of course, women.
Yes, Jamal Khashoggi. I think it's Khashoggi. Just a quick AI summary of what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. He was a prominent Saudi journalist and critic of the Saudi government, as he should be. He was murdered on October 2nd, just so the anniversary of that, the 7-year anniversary of that just came up, inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. Khashoggi's death sparked international outrage and condemnation, as it should. The CIA concluded that the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered the killing. In another country, they dragged him off the street, or no, they might have called him in for some reason, and he went for some reason, but he was murdered in another country. But since it technically the consulate grounds are consecrated, not consecrated, Jesus, that's church. They are technically considered official land of the country to which they are the consulate of. Not a lot was done by it, but still, in another country, I can't remember if they lured him in or if they drug him in off the streets. I really can't remember off the top of my head. But his murder raised significant concerns about press freedoms and human rights in Saudi Arabia, which there are none. Khashoggi was known for his writings in the Washington Post and advocacy for democratic reforms. This is the kind of thing that people think that the Trump administration wants in our country. It's not the case. This is what it actually looks like. But that's not what this whole video is about. So unfortunately for now, we'll move on unless it comes up again.
We're not allowed to drive until 2018, so they weren't all wrong.
Traffic
walked into
accidents
the
went up a lot.
Yeah. Now, performers at the festival, see if you can spot a trend here. Aziz Ansari, Wayne Brady, Bill Burr, Whitney Cummings, Pete Davidson, Kevin.
Look, and some of these I don't care too much because they don't talk a lot about things in this country that they would also complain about in Saudi Arabia if they knew more about it. So like you'll hear later that one of them will say, I don't have any jokes about the Crown Prince or Islam, so I won't talk about it. That's fine. It's no big deal. It's not the point. If anyone in this country said that you could not talk about them, and nobody, Trump doesn't, like, he doesn't like when they talk about him. He'll cry on Twitter or what's his True Social. But he will not arrest anyone for making fun of him. Now, if they lie on a news show, yes, that's where a lot of these lawsuits have come from. These are facts, and facts do matter. Don't make me say that stupid Ben Shapiro line, but it's true. But just look at this. Some of these guys, not so much. Segura, I'm sure Jeff Ross has said something, but probably just in passing on a show, not on anything where he's the main guy. Bill Burr has said a lot. Dave Chappelle said a lot. We'll get into that. Louis C.K. said a lot. We'll get into that. Gabriel Iglesias, he's been to Saudi Arabia before, so this is no big thing for him. He doesn't push the envelope in that way as that much. If I haven't seen anything at least, but I haven't watched any of his more recent ones. Wayne Brady, I don't even know how he got on this ticket. He's probably the lowest paid guy here. Joe Coy has been big. A lot of these guys are big free speech guys. But yeah, oh God, Schulte. Chris Tucker, plucked from more or less obscurity. And then the Pete Davidson thing, I think he said he's going to get into that at the end of this, so we'll see about that.
Kevin Hart, Gabriel Iglesias, Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino, Andrew Schultz, Chris Tucker, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, Sebastian Maniscalco. And the contract stipulations, by the way, they were more lengthy when they started, and I guess they sort of reduced it down. They basically stated that you couldn't make fun of the Saudi Arabian government, you couldn't make fun of the royal family at all, and you couldn't make fun of religion.
Those are three huge things in the West that everyone makes fun of. Everyone makes fun of the royal family when it comes to England. A lot of people, I mean, it's like saying you can't make fun of rich people here in America or the president. You can make fun of the president. I do it all the time. I can't do a really good impression. I've been trying. It's just getting worse. So I'm going to just hope it lands one day. But for now, not so much. Religion, all we do is make fun of Christianity and Judaism in this country. Islam, not so much, but a lot of people do. South Park does. They get those episodes banned every time. Even the one way back, you can't even show a picture of Muhammad. You can make all kinds of jokes about the Catholic Church, about Baptists, Methodists, Mormons, Jews, the Jews, but you can't even show a picture of the prophet from Islam.
Well, I want to probably. You could probably make fun of a couple of religions.
I think they
religions.
They probably said no religion because they just didn't want it. They didn't want the optics of saying you can't make fun of Islam.
Right.
So if they say don't make fun of religion in general because it's disrespectful,
because
they
we
have
respect the Jews.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know.
So, but think about this:
know why I said
you're a
that.
comedian.
Japanese.
You're taking a check to go perform for what is effectively just. They are a perpetual abuser of human rights, Saudi Arabia. And you can't make fun of them for, well, how can you speak truth to power? It's baked into the contract,
Right.
where you can't make fun of them. And some of the comedians were reportedly offered anywhere from $350,000 to $1.6 million.
Dang.
Tim Dillon, who was disinvited, and by the way, respects to him for ending up disinvited. He said that he was offered $375,000. $375,000.
I think he even took a down payment or something. He was joking about it. Maybe it was just a joke, but yeah, he did joke about it pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know if he did or if he didn't. By the way, this is why we are funded by viewers like you, not a foreign caliphate. You can join. You can click that button, join Rumble Premium. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. And if not, let us earn your vote.
Also, while we're at it, please, anyone who's watching this, if you have Rumble, go over there and follow me. I need a few more followers so I can start streaming over there. You don't have to watch, I just appreciate anyone going over there and following me. Link, I believe, should be in the description. If it's not, I apologize.
Tomorrow, but I would hate to find myself in a position where I have to take money from the Saudis.
Okay, well then I'm going to need to cancel that flight tomorrow.
Well, thank you.
Riyadh.
That's as long as I do hear that. Was it at UAE Airlines, United Arab Emirates Airlines? Is that what it is? That it's beautiful first class.
Fantastic. Well,
they're great, and the ladies still wear skirts. That's awesome.
Yeah, I do.
The guys wear them too. That's weird.
I do like the old Pan Am outfits. So the comedians who will be going, Dave Chappelle, he said this about Riyadh. He said, right now in America, they say that if you talk about Charlie Kirk, that you'll get canceled. I've never heard anyone say that. It's easier to talk here, meaning Saudi Arabia.
Making fun of his death. Sure. Lying about the details of it. Absolutely. Especially if you're a news organization. Doesn't matter if you're a comedian. If you are classified as news on there's some kind of basically the same way that you sign up if you make a YouTube channel or whatever, you can classify yourself in certain categories. They have that for mainstream media and all mainstream entertainment. Everything's classified so that when rankings come out, they can be like, oh, #1 news show, #1 comedy show.
Than it is in America.
What?
Wrong.
Yeah, who's their Jimmy Kimmel?
Hold on a second. Have you performed anywhere in America where you were met with the stipulations, can't make fun of anyone in the government, can't make fun of any elected officials, and can't make fun of religion at all?
Not in America. It's starting to become prominent in Europe, especially I've heard things from Poland, seen videos in Germany, and people from Germany will come out and say, oh, no, it's this. This is on 60 Minutes. Sorry, it's your government officials. I looked up who they were. I can't remember who they are because German names are hard. But
I think that's exclusive to the Saudi Arabian government. And by the way, no one says that you'll be canceled if you talk about Charlie Kirk. Is he conflating this idea of the left gleefully celebrating the assassination of an innocent man and spitting on memorials and desecrating vigils? Is he conflating that with talking about Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Because it's literally a cottage industry right now where everyone is talking about Charlie Kirk and every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a conspiracy theory. It's easier to talk here, Saudi Arabia, than it is in America. Well, let's see. Are there some criticisms that you have lobbed here in the United States that would not be allowed in Saudi Arabia? For example, have you complained about those in power here or made fun of them, which you absolutely are well within your right and should do, but of course would be barred from ever being discussed in Saudi Arabia? Roll it, Tim.
The beginning of the monologue, I contextualized it because I feel like a lot of white Americans finally got to see what an election night looks like for many black Americans.
Chappelle said during a routine at the gala, I was the first guy on TV to say, give Trump a chance. I effed up. Sorry. The former Comedy Central star also said he completely disagreed with Trump's travel ban attempt, which targeted Muslims. Chappelle said of the executive order, I think that is way out of step with the way people feel in America.
Now, can you imagine him just in Saudi Arabia? I hear. Y'all don't let homos drive. He'd never come back. He would never be allowed back.
No.
which is true.
And that's the issue here. Is for me, look, you want to take the money, that's fine. Just say, yeah, it was a good check. We'll get to Pete Davidson in a bit because he was honest about it. But saying that it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia when you are on record saying things about this administration, about this government, that you have, by the contract stipulation, you would never be able to say there. That's dishonest. It's disingenuous. And I think would be an asterisk next to your name as a truth teller. The next one, I don't know if we have this clip. You said there was a V2 that you're waiting on, right?
Yes, I didn't get it yet.
Okay, do we just have version 1?
No.
You don't have any of them?
I don't have any of that clip.
Well, it'd be one thing if
we'll come back to it.
It'd be one thing if Chappelle had gone over there and he actually did, talk about the royal family and talk about Islam or anything like that.
Yeah, if they
and
let
came
him
back
leave.
and was like, hey, yeah, I can say whatever I want to, but he didn't do that.
No, you didn't do that.
He didn't do
You didn't
that.
do that at all. That brings us to, okay, let's do Louis C.K. then. So
That would've been really
Louis
funny.
C.K. defended his
If Dave Chappelle did what Dave Chappelle normally does and goes up there, and Dave Chappelle's been a hero of mine forever. He has said some things I disagree with, but everyone does. I don't fault him for most of it. Like, I think there's like maybe one thing that was horrendous, but I'm not going to stop listening to his comedy. I'm not going to stop any of that because it's funny. And it's not anything he made fun of. It's just something that he himself said that he personally believes in, which is retarded. But again, judge the art, not the artist.
his appearance in Riyadh. And again, the issue here is just them turning themselves, just twisting themselves into pretzels to defend
Yes, he
what
is an
they
artist.
would refer to, rightfully so, as an authoritarian administration. If
If ever there was a comedian or a group of comedians that you could consider artists, Dave Chappelle is definitely up there. Top three easy. He's probably my number one. Top three easy of all time.
any of their policies made their way over here while then lamenting the loss of our basic fundamental rights in the United States. Let's see Louis C.K. defending what's going on in Riyadh.
And when this came up, they said there's only two restrictions. It's their religion and their government. And I don't have jokes about those two things. It used to be when I got offers from places like that, there'd be a long list. And I just say, no, I don't need that. But when I heard its opening, I thought, that's awfully interesting. That just feels like a good opportunity. And I just think comedy is a great way to get in and start talking. There's some good in it, maybe some bad in it, but
Maybe.
I think for me it cuts towards going. And
like
that's
I said,
that's my decision.
it's all-
And that's fine. But the only reason you're not going to talk about those things, let's be honest, you don't have any material on it because you don't know anything about that. Because if you did, there's a lot to make fun of there. But Louis C.K., let's be honest. He might not even get to go on stage because he might pull his dick out in front of, other people's wives in beekeeper outfits.
I know where it's coming from because I can see right inside myself. So. Right.
Okay, let me distill this. How many of these people would have performed at a Donald Trump inauguration? Comment below. How many do you think? The answer, of course, is none.
Nobody.
They criticized artists for performing.
Right, and here's the
Snoop
thing.
Dogg and- yeah.
They basically are. They basically are performing at a political.
Tony Hinchcliffe got a lot of shit for performing at, what was it, the New York Madison Square Garden event, for pointing out that, and he did it in typical comedian fashion, especially for him, that there is a waste management issue in Puerto Rico. He wasn't calling Puerto Ricans trash. He wasn't calling the island trash because the island is beautiful. He was saying there's a lot of trash on that island, and he's the only person who's ever brought it up. But nobody gives a fuck. Because Democrats were upset and wanted to dunk on Trump. So instead of being like, oh, yeah, that is an issue, maybe we should get some of this trash off this island, find a way to dispose of it properly. No. They used it and they said, oh, Tony Hinchcliffe is at a Trump rally saying this, so he's very clearly a racist, and he's calling them garbage people. That's not the case. I'm not saying he wouldn't say it, but that he didn't say it.
Event there because they're politically whitewashing Saudi Arabia. They have agreed we will not criticize those in power here so long as the checks cash. How many of them would perform at a Donald Trump inauguration or gridiron dinner?
Yeah.
Probably
And I
none.
don't care if
Here's
anyone
Louis
does.
C.K.
Personally, I do not think politicians should hire famous people to do anything. I didn't like when he pulled old Hulka up there on stage during the Trump thing. I didn't like when Kamala Harris had a bunch of nasty twerking bitches on the stage for some of her shit. I don't like any of it. Famous people need to stay as far away from politics as they can because most of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
addressing Donald Trump. Just picture Donald Trump as, a royal Saudi.
And then there's somebody who lies once in a while. It can't quite stay inside the boundaries of truth, right? Somebody who lies sometimes. Then you have a liar, who's somebody who's almost like it's like a problem. They can't, they can't help it. They lie a lot. Then you have just a lying sack. And that's somebody who's just there. They just lie. They like it. He likes it. He goes, it wasn't even true. Wasn't even true. And then I said they were liars. And we bombed a bunch of weddings in Yemen. We sent them like a present, like they registered for a drone or something. At every wedding there. So, yeah, you didn't like that much.
Also, that was effectively Saudi Arabia's war.
Traditional Saudi Arabian royalty garb.
It's a twofer.
He said it. Thank God for AI.
So you can blame Donald Trump for basically a Saudi Arabian conflict, and then say, but it's a great way to get people talking. They're doing what? Wait. Okay, let's go to.
I guess he must have been okay with the drone attacks in Yemen 2 years prior.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's go to Bill Burr. Bill Burr, of course, a beacon of truth-telling, as bold as they get, and by that I mean a guy who lifted Nick DiPaolo's act while he was watching him in Boston and was lost in tall weeds, largely an observational comic who took Nick DiPaolo's shtick and then decided to soften it for the mainstream. Here's Bill Burr talking about performing in Saudi Arabia and how...
Hold on, before we get to that. So people like this Evan Loves the Wharf here. So there's a thing saying... sorry, I'm horrible with this girl's name. Irina's law bill drafted, which could see Ukrainian refugees killer facing the firing squad. And then this person saying it's actually evil to put an obviously mentally ill person in front of a firing squad. Yes, just as it's obviously evil to keep letting this motherfucker out on the street every time he does something like this. This is the worst one he's done so far, but... was it 13, 14 times this man was arrested for some kind of violent offense? Do we really need that many before he finally kills somebody? Yes, I'm still mad about this. They let the man back out on the street after he killed this girl. He's out there walking. As of a few days ago, I don't know, maybe something, since people are trying to get all this stuff put out. But Evan Loves Wharf, you're a retarded person. Get yourself out of society. Take yourself over to Europe where, hold on, let me make sure this is a white person I'm talking about first. Okay, yeah, very clearly an autistic white person. Get yourself out of American society, man. You're part of the problem. I'm all for getting criminals the help they need. Prison should be about, yes, punishment, but also rehabilitation. Same thing for crazy people. We should do more for crazy people instead of just letting them be homeless, making murals with their feces out on the street somewhere. How is this even a conversation? You get one side that don't give a fuck, wants to throw them all in jail, no prison reform, nothing. You get the other side, wants to just let them out, roam the street. They're people just like us, like the stupid-ass little girl from the end of Jurassic World. Was it part 2? Fallen Kingdom? Fallen franchise? I had to let them out because they're alive, like me. Shut up. Shut up. Stupid. You can go against the conservatives that you hate so much, which I understand some of y'all, why some of y'all don't like conservatives. I don't much care for them either. Some of y'all look confused right now. I'm not a conservative. I'm still a liberal, but liberals are a bunch of emotionally inept children that have no real change for anything. Just let everyone be free and frolic and play and all this and that, and everything will be great, and we can have sandwiches. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry, the Irina, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this girl's name. Eastern European names are probably some of the hardest fucking ones out there. For anyone who's ever seen me announce things in real life, Hispanic names, no problem. Some Southeast Asian names, or I honestly a lot of them, because I've a lot of people from my home area, no problem. Eastern European names, why are there no vowels in this? Anyway.
How wonderful of an experience it was.
The Royals loved the show. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled.
Thank God.
And, yeah, it was just this great positive thing. And I got to tell you, just to be a part of that was fucking amazing. And the comedians that I've been talking to just really, dude, they wanted
That paycheck was
wanted
amazing.
You to like
Your
the
house in the Hollywood
want
Hills has got to be expensive.
You know,
bro.
they go online and they see it. They want to like see real stand-up comedy. So
They got you instead.
it was a mind-blowing experience. Definitely top 3
I'll agree with
experiences.
Look, I'll agree with whoever said that in the background. It sounded like my least favorite of the crew. Bill Burr's not as funny as he used to be. The last funny thing Bill Burr did, arguably, I might be wrong, so he went and hosted Saturday Night Live and started talking about white women. That's the last funny thing he did, the last brave thing he did. Ever since then, he's been going with the grain.
I've ever had.
Look, there's nothing wrong with doing comedy. If you want to go and ask them, talk about the microwave dinners on the airline or whatever it is, okay.
The fork
But
and
to
toy
act-
so flimsy.
Yeah, to act like you're like, if it was the Bill Burr of yore, you'd be like, right, really, dude? Like, we're not going to act like only 3 years ago your women were allowed to drive, right? Like, I get it's a positive impact, it's a change, but dude, come on. Like, your women are dressed like ninjas, right? They can't do it if you're throwing gays off rooftops. It's been raining men for like a fucking week, right? Dude, like, instead, he's like, it was just great, man. It was fantastic. Let's go to the, he also had some pretty, he had some nice insight as to some of your misconceptions about Saudi Arabia.
My whole fucking idea of Saudi Arabia is what I've seen like on the news. I literally think I'm gonna fucking land, and everybody's gonna be screaming "Death to America!" and they're gonna have like fucking machetes and want to like chop my head off, right? Because this is what I've been fed about that part of the world, right?
And this is why it's so easy for the left to maintain zero principles. They strawman everything.
Yeah.
Like, I would never, and by the way, I have a problem with any type of caliphate. I have a problem with any type of government that is largely predicated around Islam, because I know what it actually stands for. But I wouldn't think for a second that if I landed, it would be a bunch of people shouting "Death to America."
After
Nobody
they paid you to fly there?
Exactly.
Right. But like, since he goes, and since it wasn't that way, it's actually not what you think. Yeah, and then he strawmans Donald Trump voters. He strawmans Donald Trump himself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, your principles can just shape shift. By the way, just to be clear, I would never be able to perform in Riyadh. I would guaranteed be executed. Do you know that? Guaranteed be executed if I landed, set foot in Saudi Arabia. They could go through my YouTube channel. They could pick 5 videos from 2008 through 2012. Go back into the catalog.
And this is 100% true. Whether or not, look, Steven Crowder said things way, way, way worse about Saudi Arabia in particular than Jamal Khashoggi has ever said. He would definitely get it way worse than Jamal did. This man cannot go. They canceled, shit. I can't remember the name of the comedian. Is it Tim Dillon? I want to say Tim Dillon, but I might be wrong. He was invited. Then he said something about Saudi Arabia at a comedy event or something. It got caught on tape, put out there. And then they canceled his invitation. That's them being nice. No more 500 grand for you.
And go, oh, well, of course we have to kill him. So forgive me if I don't have a lot of love lost for these people. And here's Bill Burr. Again, just picture the criticism toward American officials and largely conservative. Just picture them as the Saudi royal family. Here he is.
That idiot Elon Musk.
Oh.
That guy, like, he's going to, like, who evidently is a Nazi. Like, I just refuse to believe that it was an accidental 2-time Sieg Heil. Why do you think people are still in the Klan? 2024, and some guy yelled out, he goes, something to do! The reason why they still fucking exist is because they don't with white people. That's basically it. If they did to white people what the they've done to black people, how long do you think that stupid group would have been around?
These billionaires,
When was the last time you heard anything about them? Except for they're Trump's friends, which is retarded. They got a stronger connection to Biden, a much stronger connection, actual photos of him with these people, and he's never denounced them. Trump, on the other hand, has denounced them. When was the last time you heard that they did anything? The last time I heard about them, outside of these scenarios, is, I want to say, when they ran the Westboro Baptist Church out of, I think, someplace in, like, Arizona or New Mexico, and then I haven't heard anything about them since. Heard of other groups, but I haven't heard of the KKK.
They need to be put down.
Or
You
even
know,
the
like
neo-Nazis.
fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed and just going out and just dividing everybody. You know what I mean? Because some corporate had to give himself a fucking bonus check at the end of the year. What if we made it worse, but made it look the same?
Yeah.
Then could our pools be bigger?
Not
Free
okay.
Luigi! But CNN and Fox News.
See, and he says shit like that. I don't care. If he said it ironically some way, sure, maybe I could get away with it. But this man believes this shit. And I love Bill Burr, too. He's been one of my favorite comedians for... I saw him. I thought he was funny on Chappelle's show way back. He did a bunch of goofy stuff when he was in his late 20s, early 30s. When he was talking about, like, dating women in Harlem. And once you get past, I think it was like 119th Street or some shit. But, and then now he's doing this. You are openly calling for more of this. And killing CEOs doesn't do anything. They're just going to put a new one in. Tighten up security a little bit. Make sure that he gets from his place of business to the car, and then maybe have someone drive him home. That's it. And these guys, the CEOs, are worth about the same amount as this man. They're worth about the same. This guy's like, I don't like the way that he made his money. Free Luigi.
Are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yes. Free Luigi.
Kind of like the royal family worth 1.4 trillion, right?
Yeah. And that's another thing. The royal family, is this here? Okay, he's going to talk about it.
Join a younger, hipper, white nationalist group. Right? Like the neo-Nazis or the proud white nationalist.
Worth 1.4 trillion, right?
You want to join a younger...
Okay, this says the Al Saud family, House of Saud, is it Saud? Is the ruling dynasty of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Al Saud family is both one of the richest royal families and one of the richest business families in the world by net worth. The estimated net worth of the Al Saud family, or House Saud, is USD, that's United States monies, 1.4 trillion. Elon Musk is the richest single person. The Al Saud family is the richest family. Might be a big family. They have a lot of wives, a lot of kids. Some of the wives are kids too. That's a lot. I don't know if you know how much a trillion is. The way they get this money is the exact same way that they think all these business owners do in America. The only difference is, while we live in, most people, look, I'm poor. I'm broke. I have a nice phone. Most of my friends got a nice phone. Some of the clumsy ones got some broken screens. They can't get another new one at the time. But everyone's got a nice phone. For the most part, everyone's got one made within the last 3-4 years. Even if you got it through a third party, you don't have it through AT&T or whatever. You're doing all right. And especially if you make good decisions, you are not under the thumb of anybody. Unfortunately, a lot of people make good profit off of people's bad decisions. Just look at the Red Pill Society. Fresh and Fit podcast, all your OnlyFans girls. A lot of people making bad decisions, making profit off of other people making bad decisions. Facts.
You're a hipper white nationalist group, right? Like the neo-Nazis or the Proud Boys.
Putting them in the same category. The Proud Boys, the leader, Enrique Tarrio, is a black Cuban.
You know, with the little fades, you know, and the little
Right.
okey-doke
Conflicted too.
pee through or whatever the secret handshake is. I'm looking out my white head, watching.
And again, we give the OK symbol to white supremacists because why? Because a few of them did it in pictures, and people saw it and said, oh, the OK symbol is now a sign of white supremacy. Because if you do it up like this, like his hand is right there with the O right there, it looks like a W and a P for white power. Simply stunning. And all those people doing it in Hollywood, but they do it over their eyes. It's just as silly, but that one might be a little more true, that they're part of the all-seeing eye, the people that dress like yaks and fuck under a mountain, like, Bill Burr used to talk about before he became rich and famous.
And this white shit,
Well, rich.
it's coming back into my white eyes, getting whiter by the fucking second. Right? Now, my wife, on the other hand, she's black, right? You guys stood by us toxic white males through centuries of our crimes against humanity. You rolled around in the blood money, and occasionally, when you wanted to sneak off and hook up with the black dude, if you got caught, you said it wasn't consensual. How you can be the support the troops, America love it or leave it, and then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler. Like that Colin Kaepernick guy, right?
Didn't happen. Look, you can say what you want about it. The awkwardness of it, no. I don't think so, because he's never done anything else to ever suggest that. Other than being a really weird, robotic white dude. Probably autistic. Probably definitely autistic. If he ever does anything else, or heils, or does it the actual way instead of doing it like a half dab like he did, then we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, I think it's just part of the we don't like Trump thing. You see a lot of this. A lot of people do stuff, like say a lot of crazy shit because they don't like Biden or Kamala too.
You knew when he was like protesting during the national anthem, no one was going to listen to what the he had to say, no matter how much he explained it.
And we don't want it.
Mostly because he's a third-string rich kid who was raised with a nice, wealthy family. He was already rich before he went to the NFL. These are facts. He's gotten more sponsorships since he left the NFL and has repeatedly tried to go back, even though he compared it to the slave trade.
To go to war with Russia over Ukraine. What would be the sense of making it illegal? Oh, that's really going to stop Putin. No. To stop people from going to war, you have to also put boots. You can't sit down and talk it out? Do a
No! Look, there are those that you can't just talk things out with. Have you never seen Dragon Ball Z, the speech that the little head gives to Gohan? I know Bill Burr hasn't, but no. You can clearly see that this person has never been outside of his main crowd his entire life. Never had a conversation with anyone he disagrees with.
But why can't Putin do a podcast with the head guy? Like, you just solved the Middle East on a podcast. Why can't they solve what they're doing on a podcast?
This is weed banter, and nothing more. This is weed banter. He didn't solve it. He came up with an idea that'd never work in practice. I watched this one. Bill Burr is lost.
This is why this is not your thing.
One
and
guess.
Bill Maher knows.
Let's talk about the crimes against humanity, right? Like slavery, where you just performed and it still exists now?
Yes.
They have slaves. I'm glad they had a Chili's, Bill. They also have slaves.
Yeah, he said that. He said, "Oh, they're just like us. They had a Chili's and a McDonald's and this and that." That's just where you. These are the same people like Sean Penn, who goes somewhere, or like Tucker Carlson went to Russia and he's like, "Oh, look at how nice these stores are." That's just the part they show people like you, idiots that go to these countries. I'm sorry, I'm a little extra on this one. I apologize. But this is ridiculous.
And we're going to continue talking about this, by the way. If you're not a Rumble Premium member, click that button. And you can continue with us. We're going to be taking some of your chat, probably a lot of questions about
Bill
food
Burr's a
poisoning.
retard.
I do appreciate when someone says, you know what, my principles don't mean all that much to me, and I was just willing to take the money because, hey, it's a good check. And that is pretty much exactly what Pete Davidson said. And I will tell you, I respect him more than the Bill Burrs and the...
I really do, because at least the man is open and honest and consistent. He don't care. People are getting on him because Saudi Arabia has been linked to 9/11, multiple sources, all the way from the Michael Moore movie, Fahrenheit 9/11, and a bunch more. But Pete Davidson's made jokes about his dad dying on 9/11 a lot. Go watch the roast, watch anything, any interview, just type in Pete Davidson and 9/11. You'll see probably a couple really sad stories and a lot of really funny shit.
Louis C.K.'s of the world, for being honest.
But no, what I've heard, dude, is at that Riyadh festival is that they're like, there's a lot of people that say people are getting paid by this Middle Eastern money.
Right.
And that they can say this or they can't say that, or that they're over there, they're going to try to influence you guys in order to speak certain ways. Are you part of that conspiracy theory, or is that nothing you're on?
I've heard there's subreddits of like, I think all these people are in bed with that. I just, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go. Yeah, and also
I appreciate it.
There's part of me that's just like, I've been getting a little bit of flack just because like my dad died 9/11, so they're like, how could you possibly go there?
At least he's honest.
Yeah.
He's not presenting himself as.
Look, I got a lot of respect for Pete Davidson. He's gotten this far just being himself. Whether or not you like who that is or find him funny, that's fine. But I respect the man. I don't like a lot of the shit he says, but I got a lot of respect for him.
As a champion of truth-telling.
No.
And then someone who is as blunt as possible. And I really appreciate this. Going one step further, Shane Gillis said that he definitely could not perform there in Saudi Arabia.
No.
I'll be honest, I don't really have strong feelings about the Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I do get the fact that they perpetrated 9/11.
I'm not doing it.
That is good. I admire that.
Then they doubled the bag, and I was like,
sorry, just go on Google, Big. Who really did 9/11?
I'm not doing it.
And just be like, okay, fine, never mind.
Yeah.
They doubled the bag, the princes?
It was a significant bag.
What?
Yeah, but I'd already said no. I took a principled stand.
Yeah, against Saudi Arabia.
It wasn't even that. I didn't even think about it.
I thought we were allies with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we are. We give them a ton of
So why the hell did they do 9/11 to us? We're our boys.
I think, wasn't it Osama bin Laden just from Saudi Arabia?
Really?
Yeah,
all the hijackers. Every single hijacker, basically.
Yeah.
Was Saudi.
Yeah, you don't 9/11 your friends, bro.
You don't 9/11 your friends.
You don't. That's
I like that they counter-offered, I didn't get any offer. I actually auditioned for it.
Did you? How'd it go?
Yeah, well, not good. They said that it was a little too derivative of Sebastian Maniscalco, who's already there, but I think it was because of my speech.
Oh.
Any of that. I got.
It's not funny. I watched this part earlier. It's not great. A lot of their skits, pretty hit or miss. Really funny concepts, sometimes funny execution. I've never seen their stand-up personally. They're pretty funny guys. They're good with quips and all that. I would probably go see Steven Crowder if he performed and I heard about it. But, well, if I had the money, because I don't see a lot of people. I'm really sad that I missed Bill Maher's last tour. I didn't know it was his last tour until it was already over. And I thought for sure he'll come through again next year. Nope. My last chance to meet Bill Maher, unless I become famous, which won't ever happen. But, yeah, anyway.
Gotta hire a contractor.
I think they might have had a point. I don't think that was so much of a principled thing.
Well, I mean, I don't think I was just like Sebastian Maniscalco.
I could also understand why they might not want you and him like side by side.
There's a resemblance.
Yeah, there's a resemblance
in the act.
Well, we both like a lot of leather.
Yes, that's right.
You both Italian guys from Chicago.
From Chicago, yeah. Basically, you two
and
and
things
Dennis.
used to be better.
Okay, just maybe let it go.
It's you two and Dennis Farina.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know who that is?
Oh, he's the best. He's the best Chicago accent guy ever. What were you going to say there?
So I was going to say, something just hit me, and it kind of occurred to me in this. They're talking about, like, I think people are being paid to go over there and come back kind of as ambassadors, right? And that makes sense because, Saudi Arabia is going to pay you to go over there. They've had these world championships for, wrestling, grappling, whatever, all these different things over there. They've bought the,
WWE is owned by Saudi Arabia now.
Well, they've bought into a lot of the Premier League clubs, and they've bought some of the best players in the world to have them come over and then be ambassadors. Some of the most influential, like, online personalities ever. Ronaldo is one of those guys, Cristiano Ronaldo. So it's okay to do that.
Correct.
But if you get paid to go to Israel and go see the holy sites by Netanyahu and all these guys, it's not okay. And I'm not defending doing that because I don't like that either. But I'm saying, how can you look at one and go, Saudi Arabia is fine, when the left was absolutely going after Donald Trump every single freaking day when he went to Saudi Arabia and they received him like a king. Yeah. And he was basically saying, like, I cannot believe we're going over to Where are your principles, left? Not just these comedians.
They don't exist.
The left. This is the exact same scenario, and I disagree with both. but not the left. They only hate one. And it really is funny because I thought you hated the other country too, until it turns out that it's just not the Jews in that country. That's the only variable that I see that's different. Maybe just give me some more information and tell me how I misunderstood.
Just to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here, as somebody who's in the comedy world, they are getting a lot of flack from the left.
Yeah, they are. They're
getting they're getting it from both.
They're getting
from
it from
both
the left
sides.
comedy or the left.
Yeah,
like,
they actually
politicians.
Politicians, I don't know.
Not politicians, but
I don't know
from
about
left in
that.
comedy.
I leftist people and people in comedy. They have really burned the bridge from both ends here. They're standing in the middle of a suspension bridge with no post.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the people who did it are the people who are like, I'm a classical liberal. A lot of the people who showed up to speak are the people who sit on that fence. You know, the outwardly left comedians have criticized them, and then of course people on the right have criticized them. It's a lot of the people who claim to be
the news
a part of the new right, the Andrew Schultzes of the world, who
these people
go and try and make it seem like they're taking a principled stand. Hey, do you like what you saw? I don't know how because it's on YouTube and we.
Okay. All right. So that's all for that. Look, anyone who knows me, anyone who's watched the show, they know that I hate hypocrisy. But beyond that, I mostly hate it when someone is so passionate about one person doing it, whether it be on the other side of the political divide or this or that or this person, but they don't say anything about someone who agrees with them on most things doing that very same thing. That's my biggest thing. Saudi Arabia has committed some horrendous human rights things, even to this day. And the fact that so many of these people claim to care about human rights, to the ones that don't, it is what it is. Look, go get your bag. I'm all for it. Pete Davidson, he's open and honest about it. He's just like, yeah, you know, I had some thoughts about it. And then I saw the routing number and I saw all those zeros and I was like, oh, man. I can respect that because it's Pete Davidson. Wayne Brady hasn't done anything except for Whose Line in a very long time. Yes, Whose Line is still going, I think. If it's been canceled, it's been canceled fairly recently. The man's got nothing else. I can maybe respect that just because, I mean, anything beats bringing Hollywood Squares back. I mean, I really like that show, but for them, it was like Dancing with the Stars, but less fanfare. Just on this, again, I'm all for people making money. It's just that a lot of these people used to claim that they speak for regular folk, especially Bill Burr. That's always been his shtick. But since he's been getting that Disney money, and since Nia's said some pretty open things about certain politicians, you can see his opinion changing, sliding, and him becoming a bit more disconnected with his fan base. For anyone who watches his podcast like I occasionally do, you can kind of see it in real time. I can't say that I wouldn't do similar if I was rich, but I'd probably be definitely somewhere between him and Asmongold. Asmongold is also rich. He might be worth close to the same as Bill Burr in a much shorter amount of time. But the man still lives in squalor like he always has. He lives in a apartment that's very messy, decent size. I just want a pool. Look, that's all I want. If I can ever make anything of this, like say I blow up tomorrow, I'm like Asmongold size or Nuxtaku size, or hell, even Craig Skidamus or any of these other people that I've been watching for years. If I ever got a couple mil, I would just get like a 3-4 bedroom, 2 bath, maybe 2.5 bath, but I never have people over, so who cares? Nice bathroom. I just want a pool. I don't care if it's above ground. It's a pool. but I don't think I'd take money from Saudi Arabia, mostly because for anyone that knows me, I'm going to say what they tell me not to, and I'm going to hope that I got prepaid and that I had enough forethought to send all the money from my bank account into a family member's bank account before I went over. Just in case. Because I'm going to say what they tell me not to say, and I probably ain't going to make it out. Let's just be real frank. But that's it for today. I very much appreciate everybody for watching. Sorry it's just the one topic today, but I saw this video late in the day yesterday. Yesterday was a really rough day. It made me laugh. It pulled me out of my funk. And I wanted to share that with y'all, along with some of my personal thoughts. I had a few jokes written about stuff that some of these comedians or I would have said in Saudi Arabia. But one of these days I do plan on being monetized on YouTube at least. So I'll hold on to those. I might put them out on X or something. But thank y'all for watching, the few of you on each platform. It means a lot to me. If you would, just drop a like. It don't hurt nobody. If you have Rumble, if you would go over there and give me a follow. I'm trying to get to the number. It's not that many. It's like 5 or 10 that you need to stream on Rumble. Trying to get that one up and going. But and yeah, again, if you got the Primage, the Amazon Primage, and you got Twitch, why not just drop me a free Amazon Prime subscription? And yeah, until then, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by. And until next time, take care of yourselves. And if you got time, each other.